this is Katie. It is another Q&A Tuesday, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my car and driving. So like all questions about like my car and maintenance and mileage and everything like that, and then like what I do when I'm driving and how long I drive and all that kind of stuff. So let's just get started. So as always, all the questions are on my phone, and the first question is how many miles are on your car? Let's go exact. 188,562. But it's a Toyota, it's a Toyota Yaris. They last forever. So I can hopefully, probably, maybe hit like 300,000 on this car. Knock on wood. I don't have wood in the car. There's a paper cup over there. Does that count? I don't know. And so a lot of people actually ask this next question about how I get my car serviced and how often and what do I do when I'm getting my car serviced. And so I do get my oil changed every 5,000 miles, and I almost always go to Jiffy Lube. Sometimes I'll go to the Toyota dealership, but almost always I go to Jiffy Lube. And you really just kind of just wait in the waiting room for like a half hour, and I'm either gonna be on my phone or I'm working on my computer or something. And then other things, like if there's something else going on with my car, again, I'll either go to Jiffy Lube or the Toyota dealership. I've never had a problem at Jiffy Lube. I know a lot of people kind of like talk crap about Jiffy Lube, but I've never ever had a problem with them. They change my oil, they change my air filters and things like that. But I get this question all the time, like, well, what do you do if you need to get your car serviced for a week? I've, again, knock on wood, never had to get my car serviced for more than just like a few hours. Like there was a recall recently at Toyota, and so I waited there for like 2 or 3 hours to get like the recall fixed. But I've never had to do anything where I had to leave my car and like go somewhere else. But if something happened and I did have to leave my car for overnight or for a week or something, I mean, it's one of those things, like I would just figure it out. Like it would depend where I was. It would depend where in the country I am. Because if I'm in New York, I could go stay with family. If I'm a lot of places in the country, I could go stay with friends, or I could get a rental car and just sleep in the rental car, you know? So like or worst comes to worst, I could get a hotel room. And so there's always options for me. And I really think that plan B distracts you from plan A. And so I don't plan these things, but I just know that if something did happen and I needed to think of another plan, I could do it. And so I don't let it worry me, because it's not happening right now, you know, so I'm not gonna let it worry me that, oh, what would happen one day if your car broke down for a week? I'd figure it out then. But again, those would kind of be my options, but I'm not gonna worry about that now because it's not happening right now. But yeah, I just kind of get my car serviced like anyone else would, because like I travel around America, and America has a lot of places that you can get your car serviced. So it's not really much of a big change for me. Someone asked, is your car paid off? Yes, I purchased this car in 2010 and I paid it off, I think it was a 5-year loan. So I paid it off in 2015. Wow. Yeah, I guess it was like 3 years ago. Yeah. The next question, and I already kind of answered this, is how do you find reliable mechanics for car maintenance? And so again, I really do trust Jiffy Lube, and if you don't, it's totally okay. There's a ton of other places. I generally stick with chain places for certain things because the quality is generally similar. I'm not gonna say the same, but similar across the board. If I'm gonna go to a Jiffy Lube in New York, where I am right now, or if we're gonna go to Jiffy Lube in Florida, you're kind of gonna expect the same type of service. And again, I've never had an issue, but if you like to go to smaller businesses or mom and pop places or a different chain, that's just all. You can do your own research. You can even just check on like Google Maps, like what's closest to you, and check the reviews on there. It totally just depends on what makes you feel comfortable, what makes you feel the best. But I've just really always trusted Jiffy Lubes and the Toyota dealership, and they've been fine for me. So let's get into like a few like driving questions right now. So one person said, do you use maps or GPS or road signs? And so when I travel, I think I would say 100% of the time I travel, unless I know exactly where I am and I don't need a map or anything, I use the maps that just comes with my phone. And here's what I do, like I type in the address and then I follow the little blue line. Like I don't hit go, so I don't like let Siri tell me where to go, and I don't follow that like GPS kind of thing. I just look at the blue line and then drive and just follow the blue line. Like that's what I do. And then I also hit like where you can read the directions. I also click that too. And I feel like just for me personally, again, this is just all my personal opinion, but this is just what I do. I feel like when I'm looking at that blue line and when I'm reading the actual directions, it makes me kind of like pay more attention to where I'm going. And so I might be able to like remember it a little bit better. So that's what I do. So someone asked, do you have satellite radio? Do you listen to local radio or FM radio or public radio or whatever? What do you listen to while you're driving essentially? And so sometimes the radio, sometimes CDs, because yes, I still have CDs. And then sometimes I'm listening to just the music that's on my phone. Lately, it's been things like Lydia, and mostly just Lydia. I love Lydia right now. But there are obviously tons of things that you can do while you're driving besides listening to music. And so I want to take an opportunity right now to mention Audible. And so I want to thank Audible so much for sponsoring this video, because I know that so many people love listening to audiobooks, whether they're at home, whether they're like on the beach and just like have their headphones in, or they're at the gym, or they're driving. And I know it's a really, really good way to, sometimes people don't want to listen to music, you know, or sometimes people don't want to listen to whatever's on the radio and they want to actually listen to a book. And I know so many people who use Audible. And so Audible carries like a countless number of books in basically any genre that you want to hear. And so one book that I would really, really recommend listening to is called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. It is almost definitely, it's like top 3 of my favorite books, possibly my favorite book in the entire world. It talks about overcoming resistance. And so I know a lot of times on my channel, I'm talking about kind of like pushing through your fears and doing what you think is best for you. And this book I heard of about 4 years ago. And I think that it actually is part of why I'm able to live this life. There's obviously tons of parts and tons of reasons why I'm living the life that I'm choosing to live, like living on the road and traveling, living in my car and doing all these things. But The War of Art explains that we have so much resistance to like not do the things even that we want to be doing and that we know are best for us. And so I just think that it's like an amazing, amazing book. And if you guys want, you can get 30 days of Audible for free. And I'm going to put like my little code right here. It's audible.com/Katie Carney, or you can text Katie Carney to 500-500 and you can get a month for free. Hey guys, you know it's not a Katie Carney video if there's not editing Katie interrupting. So I forgot to say that you get a free month of Audible, and you also get 1 free audiobook in that free month. Just wanted to let you know. Okay, bye. And then every month after that, essentially you pay a subscription and then you can pick a book, and then you can obviously buy more books on top of that as well that you want to listen to. And again, you can listen to them anywhere. And I know that a lot of people think about like, oh, well, what is there to do while you're driving? You know, because some people get bored, or some people just don't like driving, but they really want to go somewhere that's 8 hours away, and listening to audiobooks is just an ideal option. And so again, the link is audible.com/Katie Carney, or you can send a text that says Katie Carney to 500-500. And oh, one other thing, by the way, for that like little monthly fee, you listen to books on like an iPad or an iPhone or your Android or any tablet or anything like that. And so it's so convenient, and it's just, I think it's an amazing, amazing choice. And so go check that out if you want to. And let's just get back to other questions. So someone asked, what is the longest period you've driven nonstop? So when I was younger, when I was like 25 or so, and I just moved to Nashville, but I'm from Long Island. And so that drive is about 17 or so hours. There were quite a few times that I would make that drive with really just like stops to use the restroom and get gas and to get food. I mean, I would take like breaks, obviously, because you need to get gas, but 17 hours is kind of like the longest that I've driven without like sleeping. And I don't know if I would ever do that again because nowadays recently I've driven, you know, 8, 9, 10 hours in a day, but I don't really like doing that as much anymore unless I really have a place that I really, really want to get to. But if I'm just kind of traveling and I don't have anywhere that I need to be or that I really, really want to be at a certain time, usually like 4 or 5 hours in a day. But yeah, I think the longest is about 17. That's a doozy, guys. That's a doozy. So I have one question asking if I've ever been in a car accident, and no. So I hesitated, and kind of it was like a question, because when I was younger, I was in a very mild car accident with my mom, but my mom was driving like a car, like it was 100% the other person's fault. They like, I forget exactly how it was. I think like we were in the right lane and someone was like either turning, trying to go around us, but like it was definitely our right of way, or someone like from the left lane tried to take a right turn in front of us. It was something like really, really crazy like that, but we were going very, very slow and we were all totally fine. And then the only thing that while I was driving, ever got into that was even close to an accident was I hit a parked car once in a parking lot. And let me explain the story, because I understand that it was my fault because I hit them, but they were parked. You know how a lot of parking lots, like they'll be like car space, car space, car space, car space, and then like a bunch of like diagonal lines, meaning you can't park there. There was a car that was partially in that diagonal line section. And so when I was pulling out of my space, I hit them, because you're not supposed to park in that diagonal section for literally like space reasons and like backing up reasons and whatever. And so I like scratched their bumper and they got really mad about it. Cause like we left a note and they called and they were actually really, really mad about it, which I was like, it's a bumper, but it was like a brand new car. And so they were mad and whatever, but we were all totally fine. I was going like 5 miles an hour, but that's like the closest thing that I've gotten into an accident for me driving. And someone asked, has your car ever broken down while you were in the middle of nowhere? So I don't think I told you guys this. So when I was in LA, what, a few months ago, like 3 months ago or something, I took a weekend trip with one of my friends down to San Diego. And on our way, I think he was driving my car. Yeah, he was driving my car. And we did see that we had like low tire pressure in one of my tires. Like, I pointed over here because we had a little like signal thing, you know? And I was like, oh, don't worry about that, because that's kind of been going on like randomly for a little while. And so just when we get to San Diego, I'll fill the tire, it's fine. That was a bad idea, bad choice. I made a bad move, I understand that. And a little while later, the tire popped. And so we had to pull over, but I have, through my insurance, I have like a roadside assistance, but he had AAA, and so he just called AAA and they came, and I had a spare tire and they changed the tire, and then the next day I had to go buy a new tire. But it was pretty late. It was like 10 o'clock at night or something, but it wasn't in the middle of nowhere. It was on a highway. It was on like Route 5 or whatever like that main highway is, Southern California, I think it's 5, right? And so AAA came, and it was like really not a big deal. It was just like, just fine. Like, we just hung out while we were waiting, and then they changed the tire, and then we just kept going. But there have been like 2 other times that I had little like mini car issues. Like one time my car wouldn't start. This is actually on Christmas. I was at my friend's house in Nashville, and I was just by myself on Christmas. Like, I was just kind of like watching TV and like eating and stuff all day. Like, I was just kind of having like a relaxing Christmas by myself, but I wanted to go for a drive. And so I went outside to like get in my car to go for a drive, and my car wouldn't start, and my battery was dead. And so I didn't feel like, I didn't need to leave, so I didn't want to bother anyone on Christmas. And so the next day I called my roadside assistance, and they came and they jumped my battery, and then I was able to drive to Toyota to get a new battery. And then there was one time that I was in, oh, where was I? Nebraska? Omaha. Yeah, I was in Omaha, and I locked my keys in my car, which I never do ever. I am so like I always have my keys in my hand, and I always like make sure to like double lock it, whatever, but my car key fell off of the rest of my keys. And so I didn't notice until I was already out of the car with the door locked, because I locked it from the inside. And so again, I was just like gonna call a locksmith. Like, in situations like that, especially when I'm alone, I can stay pretty calm, because I'm like, there's no point of worrying, there's no point of freaking out. I just need to call someone for help. Obviously I could not have done anything, so I needed to call a locksmith just to get into my car, because my car key was just right in my car. I saw it, it was right on the seat. But actually someone ended up coming up to me and asked me if I like was having car trouble, because he saw me like outside my car, like looking in like on the phone. And I was like, oh yeah, I just locked my key in my car. And he's like, oh, I work at a dealership, I can go get the tools and break in your car for you. And he left, and he came back, and he was with his son, and his son was like, oh, my dad's always helping people. And he helped me, and he broke into my car, like, you know, like with the thing that they have like at dealerships or at like gas stations, like at car places. And he, like, I got my key and everything was great. And it was during the day, it was like lunchtime, and I was in like a restaurant, like little parking lot. And so I was very, very safe, and he helped me, and it was really, really nice. But yeah, besides that, again, knock on wood, I have not really had any car issues. So this last question I'm gonna answer, I get asked all the time, and it's essentially like, at some point you're gonna need to buy a new car, what would you buy? I honestly don't know. So I bought this car before I ever started traveling, but I love this car. I love everything about this car. I'm so happy that I have this car for traveling. It's really, really good on gas mileage. It's a hatchback, so it's really, really small. So it parks anywhere, like parallel parking, a breeze, and even just like parking somewhere, like, it's not like as super noticeable, you know? And sure, it's not very big. It is a very small car, but I'm only 5'2.5", and so I fit in this car totally fine. I fit in this car with all my stuff totally fine. But if I just started traveling now and I had the opportunity to buy a brand new car, or if this car, please don't listen, please don't listen, if this car ever stops working and I need to buy a new car, I honestly don't know what I would do. Now that I like live in my car and I sleep in my car all the time and that I travel so much, I don't really know what I would buy. I really do recommend this car. I love this car. It is amazing, but there is like, maybe I would buy something a little bit bigger. I'd probably stick with a Toyota or like a Subaru. Maybe I'd get like a little like station wagon, like a Subaru station wagon or something. I don't think I'd ever get like a van, maybe not ever, but anytime soon. I don't think I'd get like a van or like a really big SUV, maybe like a small SUV, like a RAV4 or something maybe, but I can't see myself, at least anytime soon, wanting like a huge, huge car. I just don't need it. And the things that I like about having a small car like are more important to me. Like, I like that I can park it really easily. I like that even driving is just really easy with a small car. And I'm not like really, really seeking out the comfort of having a big car over all of the positive aspects of having a small car, if that makes sense. So I might get a car that's a little bit bigger, but I still would probably want it to be a hatchback. So yeah, either like another Yaris or some kind of station wagon-y kind of thing. But that just totally depends on personal preference. Some people like really, really want a bigger car. They want a van, or they want an SUV, or they want a Sprinter van, or they want a Airstream, or they want, you know, like whatever. Like, everyone has different opinions, but I just like having a small car or a small-ish car. But I'm not sure what I would do if/when I might need to get a new car. I'm just not sure yet. And that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you're enjoying this whole Q&A series. I have maybe like 3 Q&A videos left. And so if you're not already subscribed, make sure that you subscribe so you can see all those videos and see all my other videos that I'm doing. I post about 2 to 3 times a week, and make sure that you click the subscribe button and also that little bell, and click all so you're notified of all my videos. And that's gonna be it. I love you, Jesus loves you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. So I'm holding on.